Every day, more and more video games hit store shelves, and a lot of those seem to be sequels. But there are some games that come out that just don't get the attention they deserve or they need, and they never get a sequel, they never get a continuation, they just kind of get left to gather dust. So I'm here to tell you all the games that I think deserve a sequel. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Max2Far, and for those of you who don't know, I am on TikTok. I have a decent following over there, and on TikTok, I do this video series called Video Games That Deserve Sequels. These are games that I go through and I'm like, hey, this game needs a sequel. Hey, that game needs a sequel. Oh my gosh, this game had such great potential and it could do so much more with the sequel. But I've done a lot of parts on there and I've only uploaded some of them here on YouTube, so I thought, hey, let me upload more of them. So this video is going to be a bunch of those TikToks. If you have missed out on the other compilation videos, they are going to be up in the corner right here, so go click on that. But before I do that, before I tell you all the video games that I think deserve sequels, please like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, all the ones of us YouTubers tell you guys to do. Go in the comment section, tell me what video games that you think deserve sequels. You know, there's so many video games, I probably missed some, I probably haven't played some of them, so let me know in the comments below. And with that, let's get into this video games that deserve sequels, part 3. Video games that deserve sequels, let's go. It's no secret that EA's Battlefront 2 launched horribly. It was riddled from top to bottom with microtransactions. Literally every single part of the game was tied to those microtransactions. And what made it worse is those microtransactions were specifically loot boxes. You unlocked everything through a loot box. Now it was torn apart by critics and fans alike, and rightfully so. But since then, DICE took that game and really turned it around. They added more maps, more modes, more characters, more units, more everything. They took away the loot box system and made it normal progression. And the game was a lot of fun. Like, seriously, it felt a lot like the PS2 Battlefront 2, and I loved it for that. But EA cut off support, probably because they couldn't make any more money from it. But if DICE did another Battlefront game and made it how Battlefront 2 ended, that would be awesome. Games that deserve sequels, let's go. Star Wars Squadrons puts you in the pilot seat of some of Star Wars' most iconic ships. Well, not the Millennium Falcon, but like X-Wings and TIE Fighters and stuff. You played as a New Republic fighter fighting back against the remnants of the Galactic Empire. There was a pretty interesting story. It wasn't amazing, but it was still a decent, fun Star Wars time. And then there was multiplayer where you guys were pitted against each other. One team was Empire, the other was New Republic. The flight controls were actually pretty in-depth. It actually felt like you were flying the ships, which was great. And you could fill your ship with cosmetics, and the game wasn't filled with microtransactions. A lot of people skipped out on this one, but it delivered on the fighter pilot dream. There was no Force, no Jedis, it was just you sitting in the cockpit. Seriously, we need more Star Wars Squadrons now. Games that deserve sequels, let's go. Halo Wars 2 was a Halo spin-off game that instead of being a first-person shooter, it puts you in control of the army. You controlled the crew of the Spirit of Fire and you fought back against the Banished led by Atriox. It was that classic real-time strategy gameplay. You built up a base, made units, and sent them off to destroy the enemy base. The first one was better, but the second one was still a lot of fun. And as of right now, they said that there are no plans for a Halo Wars 3, but we need a Halo Wars 3. Seriously, we need it so badly. Halo Infinite brought in the Banished and Atriox into the mainline series, so it'd be a perfect time to have Halo Wars 3 because you could have it all connect. Especially since we're going to have to wait a little while for the next mainline Halo storyline, it'd be perfect to throw in a Halo Wars 3 to tie us over till then. If you haven't played the two Halo Wars games, you really should. They're both on Game Pass, go check them out. Games that deserve sequels, let's go. Guardians of the Galaxy came out last year and was created by Square Enix, and it was a lot of fun. It was Square Enix's brand new take on the Guardians of the Galaxy in a fun single-player adventure where you played as Star-Lord and commanded the rest of the team. The story had you make choices that actually mattered, and it brought you across the Marvel cosmos. Sadly, the game did not meet sales expectations, so it's very unlikely we are going to get a sequel. This was due to a multitude of reasons. Some people weren't very happy that you only played as Star-Lord. Square Enix also made Marvel's Avengers, and people just didn't know if this was going to be good or not. But surprisingly, it's one of my favorite superhero games now, and it desperately, desperately needs a sequel. I really hope Square Enix sees the buzz that Guardians of the Galaxy got and realizes that greenlighting a sequel would be awesome. If you haven't played it, go play it. It's on Game Pass now. Games that deserve sequels, let's go. Lego Jurassic World brought the Lego formula to the Jurassic Park franchise, and it was a lot of fun. The game let players freely explore both islands from the Jurassic Park franchise, as well as both versions of the main island. And players not only could play as some of the iconic human characters, but they could also play as dinosaurs. And not only that, but they could make their own dinosaurs. What could go wrong? Now, the story of Jurassic World had the 3 Jurassic Park movies and the 1 Jurassic World movie at the time. Since then, there has been 1 more Jurassic World movie that is released and another one that is on the way, plus a TV show and a short film. Traveler's Tales should really consider going back to Jurassic World once the final movie comes out and making a complete collection, a complete game. Give Jurassic Park the Skywalker Saga treatment. I'd really just want to play as dinosaurs, so just give me a dinosaur game again, please, thank you. Games that deserve sequels, let's go! The LEGO Harry Potter collection was a bundle of the 2 LEGO Harry Potter games. The first game brought us through years 1 through 4, and the second game brought us through years 5 through 7. And this was really fun to play for Harry Potter fans, because it brought us through the Harry Potter film series in glorious, hilarious LEGO fashion. But this was at a time before the Fantastic Beasts trilogy ever came out, and before voice acting ever got added to LEGO games. And LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga took the LEGO formula to the next level. Seriously, that game looks nothing like the older games. The Skywalker Saga put all 9 movies into one title. The Harry Potter franchise only has 11 movies. That's only 2 more than Skywalker Saga. Just imagine a game with the graphics, the looks, and the gameplay of Skywalker Saga, but in the Harry Potter world with both the Harry Potter movies and the Fantastic Beasts movies. That would be so much fun for fans. Make it happen, Traveler's Tales. Make it happen. Games that deserve sequels. Let's go. LEGO DC Supervillains was a spin-off of the LEGO Batman games, but this time following the supervillains. And what made this game different from all of the previous LEGO games is that the player character was at the forefront of the story. At the beginning of the game, players got to create their own personal supervillain, and then that supervillain was injected straight into the story that followed Joker, Lex Luthor, Harley Quinn, all of the greats. So far, this is really the only game to do that, and your character would collect superpowers throughout the game and make themselves more powerful. Now, they were a silent protagonist, but it was still really cool to see. Not to mention the hub world was fun. It had Gotham City and Metropolis. This is also the last LEGO game in the old form before Skywalker Saga came through and changed it all up, and I think it deserves a sequel so badly. Games that deserve sequels, let's go. Now I know what you're thinking. Assassin's Creed Rogue? What? We are like 12 entries into the Assassin's Creed franchise. This one has technically gotten a sequel. And yes, sure, I'd agree with you, but Assassin's Creed Rogue is very different from pretty much every other Assassin's Creed game we have gotten. The series puts you in control of the assassins, but Assassin's Creed Rogue flipped that on its head and put you in control of a Templar. Right now, it is the only Assassin's Creed game that has you play a bad guy for the entire story. Assassin's Creed 3 had you play as a Templar at the beginning, but Assassin's Creed Rogue put you as a Templar the entire time. The game had you hunt down characters that you grew to love in Assassin's Creed 4 and Assassin's Creed 3, and you were responsible for the death of Arno's parents in Assassin's Creed Unity. We need more bad guy stories in this franchise, Ubisoft. Give us more of them. Games that deserve sequels, let's go! Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombies Chronicles was a remastered collection of most of the major Call of Duty Zombies maps from World at War to Black Ops 3. It was a nice little collection for Zombies fans. Zombies is one of the best modes that the Call of Duty Black Ops series has, and this was the best way to experience it. People would spend hours on these maps. They would spend hours killing zombies, collecting money, buying better guns, shooting them with ray guns, going through it was so much fun. But since the release of Zombies Chronicles, Activision and Call of Duty in general really hasn't done much with the Zombies mode and honoring the modes that came before it. There's been Zombies mode in like every single Call of Duty since, but they have not been as wild or crazy as some of the older ones were, and they just haven't been up to par with the classic Zombies. I would love if they did another collection of this. Bring back some of the best Zombies modes and Zombies maps for the modern day into Zombies Chronicles 2. Games that deserve sequels, let's go! Fossil Fighters was one of many, many Pokemon clones, but the difference between this one is that you got to use dinosaurs to fight people. Now, technically, this game series has about 3 games in it, but the original was the one that I really played, so we're gonna go off of that one. In this game, you would collect fossils that you would then mine around and make all nice and pristine, and then you would turn them into dinosaurs that you can use to fight other people's dinosaurs. It was not an award-winning game, alright? It was not this amazing game. Pokemon was leagues ahead of it, but I want more dinosaur games, and what better type of dinosaur game than a dinosaur game that lets you control dinosaurs? Now, I highly doubt we're ever going to see any more Fossil Fighters games. Alright, the last one came out on 3DS, and it's been a little while since, but I really want to control dinosaurs again. Give it the old Pokemon Sword and Shield treatment, and let me explore this big vast area, collect dinosaurs, and just have a ball. Do it, please, right now. Thank you. Games that deserve sequels, let's go! Before Breath of the Wild 2 was ever announced, if you had told me that Legend of Zelda was going to be doing sequels, I would never have believed you. But now that Legend of Zelda sequels are on the table, I would love for them to go back and revisit Wind Waker. Wind Waker gave Link control of a boat and sent him off on this pirate-esque adventure through Hyrule. It was such a fun GameCube experience, and they had an HD remake for the Wii U, but they haven't done anything with it since. But if Nintendo went back and revisited this concept with modern mechanics on the Switch, I think it would be a really great game. Now, I enjoy Breath of the Wild, but there's something special about these old Legend of Zelda games that this new game just doesn't give you. And I think one of the most special ones was Wind Waker. It does not deserve to gather dust on the Wii U or the GameCube. It needs to be brought back for the Switch, and we need to go on more pirate adventures with our favorite character, Link. Please give it to us, Nintendo. Please, thank you. I'll give you whatever you want. Games that deserve sequels, let's go. Marvel Midnight Suns was a very unique Marvel game that came out a couple years ago that really deserves another shot. This game combined classic turn-based combat that you see in XCOM with a card-based gameplay. And the main focus of the story here is on the more mystical, more magical side of the Marvel Universe. Of course, we had some big characters like Wolverine and Iron Man show up, but the majority of the time was spent on the magical stuff, the weirder stuff, the, stuff we don't really get to see a lot of on the big screen. And it was a really enjoyable game. Seriously, there was so much content here. There was hours of quality story, so much to do. And the DLC was really fun as well. It introduced characters like Deadpool and Morbius into the mix. I do think a lot of people are put off by the card-based combat here, but it works so well. And that is just such a small slice of what this game has to offer. Seriously, if you do not give this game a chance, I would highly recommend it. It is one of the best superhero games we have gotten in a while. And it set up a sequel, so I really hope that it gets another shot. Games that deserve sequels, let's go. Lego Indiana Jones 2: The Adventure Continues took the first 4 Indiana Jones movies and Lego-fied them. It was released around the time of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull to capitalize on that release, but it just wasn't a great game. The first one did the first 3 movies so much better and is still fondly remembered to this day. This one is often forgotten because it was just mediocre compared to that. However, I think they should really try again. I think Indiana Jones deserves another shot. For one, we have a 5th movie out there that has not been Lego-fied yet, so that would be a perfect addition to the franchise. I also think the 4th movie deserves a redo, and the first 3 movies could be so great with the current Lego video game design. And if they want to take it even a step further, they could toss in the Young Indiana Jones Adventures or Chronicles or whatever it was called, as well as elements from the new The Great Circle video game, because the upcoming Lego Batman game showed they're not going to shy away from throwing in video game elements. Now, I highly doubt this will ever come to fruition, but I really hope we get another Indiana Jones Lego game. Games that deserve sequels, let's go! South Park: The Fractured Butthole was a Ubisoft South Park game that was the sequel to Stick of Truth. And it was so much fun. It wasn't as fun as Stick of Truth, but it was a really good time. It just really captured the look and feel of the South Park universe while also nailing the comedy and giving us some engaging gameplay. It was definitely a little different than Stick of Truth because it swapped the fantasy element for superheroes, but people still really enjoyed it. They thought it was a great South Park experience. And even people who didn't really like South Park found something to love in here. But for some reason, since then, we have not gotten another one in this style. Instead, we got this weird multiplayer 3D snow day game that's kind of in the same franchise, but it's not similar to the other 2 South Park games, like, at all. And it does not nail the aesthetic, and it's a completely different type of game, so it's really not part of the same series. We really just want a sequel to this game. We want it back in this style, in this story, in this gameplay. I don't know why they thought Snow Day was a good idea, because that's not what people want at all. Games that deserve sequels, let's go! Star Wars Outlaws was an open-world Star Wars game that came out back in 2024, made by Ubisoft and Massive Entertainment. Instead of putting you in the role of a Jedi, going around the galaxy doing things, this puts you in the role of a scoundrel Kay-Vaz. Couple that with the open-world gameplay, and it led to a very unique Star Wars experience that we really don't get to see much of. You got to fly around these different planets, including Tatooine, explore these massive open worlds, go on this massive adventure, and meet so many iconic characters from throughout Star Wars. And while this definitely had some of the staples of a classic Ubisoft open world game, it also did a lot of unique things, including the progression system. And it also had this reputation system where you had to gain reputation with the various syndicates of the Star Wars universe, including the Pike Cartel and the Hutts. Sadly, the game did not meet expectations, and there's likely not going to be a sequel anytime soon, but I really wish there was. While I love playing as the Jedi, there's definitely something special about them taking a backseat in favor of a completely different Star Wars experience. And who doesn't love an open world Star Wars game? Games that deserve sequels, let's go. Immortals Fenyx Rising was a Ubisoft open world game that came out a couple years back, and it thrust you in a unique, colorful world of Greek gods. Now I know Ubisoft open world titles get a lot of flack for their sameness and, the repetitiveness, but this is probably one of the most unique Ubisoft games they have ever made. It drew inspiration from the likes of Breath of the Wild, and it was just so good. The combat was so unique, the story was so much fun, the progression system was great, and just everything about this game worked so well. Sadly, it did not do very well, and they are not making another one, but I think there is so much potential for a franchise here. The DLC alone showed you just that. It brought you on new adventures, it put you in the role of new characters, it brought you to an entire new locale. And because of all of that, I really wish they gave this another chance. If you have not checked it out and you want to have a great time, then I would recommend going and giving it a shot. It is well worth the time. You will spend hours playing it. And please, Ubisoft, please revisit it, please.
So yeah, I think those are all the video games that deserve sequels right now, alright? This is pretty much all the TikTok videos I have up until this point. Once I make more, I will make another compilation videos, but please remember, in the comments, let me know what video games you think deserve sequels, alright? Maybe I cover them in a different video, or maybe I haven't covered them yet. Let me know. I'm always excited for some amazing ideas. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, all of us YouTubers tell you guys to do, and I hope to see you in the next